Deep beneath the earth in a classified government facility, Dr. Marcus Holloway is tasked with studying Subject 31, a patient with multiple personalities, one of which shouldn't exist. I should have never agreed to this assignment. That's the first thought that crosses my mind as I stare at the thick, reinforced glass separating me from Subject 31. He sits completely still in his chair, hands folded neatly on his lap, dressed in the standard gray uniform all long-term patients wear. To anyone else, he would seem normal. He has no scars, no twitches, no vacant stares. He even smiles at me, a polite, almost friendly expression that makes my skin crawl. But I know better. I shuffle through my notes, forcing my hands to stay steady. Dr. Marcus Holloway, senior researcher, behavioral studies. That's who I am. That's who I've always been. I remind myself of this because ever since I stepped into this facility, I felt like I'm forgetting something. A cold voice crackles through my earpiece. Proceed with the interview, Dr. Holloway. Let's not waste time. Right. I click the intercom. Good evening, Subject 31. He lifts his gaze, meeting mine with sharp blue eyes. For a moment, I feel like I'm the one being observed, studied like an insect under glass. Good evening, Doctor, he says softly. His voice is calm, steady, too steady. I scan his file again. Real name, unknown. Diagnosis, dissociative identity disorder, DID. Confirmed personalities, 14. Current personality active, Harvey, nonviolent. Harvey is the safe one, polite, passive. The researchers before me have only spoken to him. The other personalities, not so much. How are you feeling today? I ask. I'm doing well, Doctor. I always enjoy our talks. Lie. We'd never even spoken before today. I shifted my seat. Good. Let's continue from yesterday. I stop. There was no yesterday. This was my first session. He smiles, tilting his head slightly. Something wrong, Doctor? My mouth goes dry. I lie. I don't know why I said that. The earpiece crackles again. Ask him about the witness. A chill runs down my spine. Subject 31, tell me about the witness. The smile disappears. His whole body stiffens, fingers twitching slightly on his lap. A slow breath hisses from his lips, and then he starts laughing. Not loud, not exaggerated, just a quiet, knowing chuckle. The witness? He repeats, looking up at me with new eyes. Eyes that seem too deep, too dark, like staring into a black hole. I don't even speak. I just let him talk. The witness isn't an identity, Doctor. It's not a voice in my head. It's not a fractured piece of my mind. He leans forward slightly. The witness is watching you. I swear the room gets colder. I glance at their observation mirror. No one says anything in my earpiece. Just silence. What do you mean? I ask carefully. You already know, don't you? He chuckles again, voice dropping to a whisper. How many times have we had this conversation? Something in me twists. This is our first session. Is it? I feel lightheaded. A pressure builds behind my eyes, like a headache trying to break through. I grip the edges of my desk to ground myself. He watches me with too much interest. His expression isn't that of a confused patient. It's amused, like he's watching something play out exactly the way he expected. Tell me, Doctor, do you ever feel like you've forgotten something? My stomach lurches. That's enough, the voice in my earpiece barks. End the session. I don't argue. I stand up, my chair scraping against the floor. Subject 31 doesn't move. I'll see you tomorrow, he says cheerfully. I don't reply, because as I step toward the exit, I catch something in the observation mirror. A shadow. Something standing directly behind me. I whirl around. Nothing. Just the sterile white walls. But Subject 31 is still smiling. And I swear to God, his reflection in the mirror is still looking at me. I don't sleep that night. Not because of the conversation, not because of the way Subject 31 smiled at me like he knew something I didn't. No, I don't sleep because I keep seeing that reflection. Every time I close my eyes, I picture it. Subject 31 sitting calmly in his chair, smiling at me. But in the mirror, he's staring at me, watching, studying. The witness is watching you. The words burrow into my skull like parasites. I tell myself I imagined it, that it's just sleep deprivation, stress, or the isolation of working in an underground facility. It's nothing. I tell myself this even as I check my reflection 3 times before leaving my quarters, but I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. 8 a.m., Observation Room B. Dr. Holloway, are you listening? I blink and focus back on Dr. Elliot Shaw, my colleague and lead researcher on the Subject 31 project. He's standing across from me in the break room, arms crossed, eyebrows raised. Yeah, sorry. What were you saying? Shaw sighs. He's always been impatient, but today there's something else in his expression. Not annoyance. Concern. If Subject 31's getting to you, you can request reassignment, Shaw says. You're new to this project, but let me be blunt. No one lasts long working with him. His previous researcher, Dr. Kinsley, 2 months in, she had a breakdown and quit. The guy before her, he started hearing things. My fingers tighten around my coffee mug. What kind of things? Shaw shakes his head. Doesn't matter. Just don't get too attached to the subject, and don't believe a damn word he says. I nod, but Shaw's warning doesn't ease my mind. If anything, it only confirms what I already suspected. This isn't just another patient. And I think I'm starting to understand why. 9:30 a.m., Subject 31's containment cell. I sit down across from Subject 31. He's already smiling, like he was expecting me. You look tired, Doctor. I ignore the comment, clicking my pen and opening my notepad. Today, I want to continue discussing the witness. He tilts his head. Why? Did you see it? See what? I ask carefully. He grins. You already know. I feel an overwhelming sense of déjà vu, like I've had this conversation before, but that's impossible. I press forward. Is the witness one of your personalities? His smile fades. No, Doctor. Then what is it? A pause. Then, in a voice lower than a whisper, he whispers, It comes after you forget who you are. Goosebumps ripple up my arms. Do you know why you were assigned to me? Because I specialize in dissociative identity disorder cases. Subject 31 laughs, a quiet, knowing chuckle. Is that what they told you? My heart pounds. I glance at the 2-way mirror. I know the observation team is watching, but for some reason, I feel like I'm alone in here. Subject 31 leans forward, resting his elbows on the table. Tell me, Doctor, do you ever feel like you're forgetting something? I feel like I'm going to be sick, because that's exactly what I felt last night. The pressure in my skull, the vague sense that I'm missing something important. Maybe you should check your notes, he says. A cold dread washes over me. Slowly, I lower my gaze to my notepad. The last page is blank. So is the one before it, and the one before that. My pulse quickens. I flip through more pages. All of my notes from yesterday's session are gone. No, not gone. The pages are still there, but someone has erased every word. My hands tremble as I flip faster, until I reach the very last page. There's writing there, but it's not my handwriting. Stop looking. The pen falls from my fingers. The witness is watching you. The air in the room feels heavier. I didn't realize how hard I'm breathing until Subject 31 speaks again, voice soft and teasing. Would you like to hear a secret, Doctor? I swallow hard. My throat is dry. What? He leans in, eyes dark and gleaming with something ancient. You were never meant to leave. The room tilts. My vision blurs for half a second, like reality just flickered. Then the door buzzes open, and a guard steps in. Session's over, he says. I look back at Subject 31. He's smiling, and when I glance at the 2-way mirror, I see it again. His reflection still watching me. I push away from the table and walk out, hands clenched. My head is spinning. My thoughts feel wrong, rearranged. As I step into the hallway, Shaw's waiting for me. His expression is unreadable. "Come with me," he says. "There's something you need to see." 10:15 a.m., Secure Archives. Dr. Shaw doesn't say a word as he leads me down the dimly lit hallway. The fluorescent lights above flicker, casting jagged shadows along the sterile white walls. I try to steady my breathing, try to tell myself that what just happened in that room was nothing, just a mind game. Subject 31 is an expert manipulator. Of course he knew how to push my buttons. But the blank page in my notebook says otherwise. And so does that writing. Stop looking. "Where are we going?" I ask finally. "Restricted Archives," Shaw mutters. "There's something you need to see before you go any further with Subject 31. We reach a heavy steel door at the end of the corridor. A red scanner blinks beside it. Shaw presses his palm to the screen. The machine hums. Then a robotic voice crackles. "Access granted." The door slides open. I follow him inside. 10:18 a.m., Restricted Archives. Rows of filing cabinets and digital servers line the small windowless room. The air's thick with the scent of paper, ink, and something else. Something metallic. Blood? Shaw moves quickly, pulling a dusty file folder from a locked cabinet. He slaps it onto the metal table in the center of the room and gestures for me to sit. "Before you continue with your sessions," he says, "you need to understand what Subject 31 really is." I hesitate, then open the file. Subject 31, initial report. Acquisition date, redacted. Origin, unknown. Number of personalities identified, 23. Anomalous behavior detected, yes. But the last section is what stops me cold. Experimental purpose. Subject 31 is not human. The entity known as the Witness manifests exclusively through Subject 31's dissociative states, displaying abilities beyond human psychology. Evidence suggests the entity is parasitic in nature, seeking hosts with invulnerable minds. Further research is required. "What the hell is this?" Shaw rubs a hand over his face. He looks tired, defeated. "It means you were never interviewing a patient, Holloway. You were being studied. Subject 31 isn't the experiment. You are." A ringing builds in my ears. "That's impossible. He's just a man with DID. A severe case, but still." Shaw slams his fist onto the table. "Wake up, Marcus! We don't even know where he came from. He was found wandering the halls of an abandoned psychiatric hospital in 1997. No records, no fingerprints, no family. He just appeared out of nowhere, babbling about the Witness." I shake my head. "No, this doesn't make any sense." "You said there were 23 personalities," I say, my voice shaky. "But in the last session, Subject 31 told me the Witness wasn't a personality." Shaw exhales sharply. He pulls another folder from the cabinet. This one looks older, worn, almost charred. He opens it to a page with a single photo. It's black and white, grainy. A group of patients standing in a line, dressed in old-fashioned asylum uniforms. In the middle of the group, a tall, thin man stares directly into the camera. His face is identical to Subject 31. My heart stops. The date of the photo reads 1912. I shove back from the table. "No, it's not," Shaw agrees. "But here we are." I press a hand to my temple. A headache's forming, sharp, stabbing. "So, you're telling me Subject 31 has been alive for over a century? That the Witness is some kind of parasite?" Shaw doesn't answer immediately. When he does, his voice is quiet. "I'm telling you, the Witness doesn't just inhabit minds." He meets my gaze, his expression unreadable. "It erases them." 11:45 a.m., Research Wing. I don't remember leaving the archives. One moment, I was sitting across from Shaw, staring at that cursed photo. The next, I'm here, standing in the hallway outside my lab. My hands are trembling. My thoughts feel wrong. Like Something has rearranged them while I wasn't looking. I take a deep breath and rub my eyes. Get it together, Marcus. Maybe Shaw's right. Maybe I'm getting too close to this. But I have one last question. One last experiment to run. 12 p.m. Subject 31's containment cell. I want to speak to the witness. Subject 31 looks up from his chair, his polite Harvey expression still in place. The witness isn't here, Doctor, he says. It only comes when it's needed. I lean forward. Needed for what? Something flickers across his face. A glitch. For just a fraction of a second, his features distort, like a bad signal on a screen. Then, he smiles again. I don't know what you mean, Doctor. My blood runs cold. I can feel it. Something watching me. Not him. Something behind him. And then, I realize it's not behind him. It's behind me. I snap my head toward the two-way mirror. I expect to see my reflection, but instead, there are two of me. One standing exactly where I am, and another standing just slightly behind. Its head tilts, its lips curl into a slow, awful grin. I can't breathe. I can't move. Then, in perfect unison, Subject 31 and the thing in the mirror speak at the same time. You were never meant to leave. 12:01 p.m., Subject 31's containment cell. I don't remember leaving the room. 1 second I'm staring at my own double in the mirror, its lips curling into that slow, awful grin. The next, I'm in the hallway outside the observation room, my back pressed against the cold wall, gasping for air. What just happened? I squeeze my eyes shut, try to remember, but the last few seconds are missing, like someone cut them out of my mind with a scalpel. No, this is just sleep deprivation, stress. I've been staring at Subject 31 for too long, letting him get into my head. That's all it is. I force myself to breathe. I'm fine. I'm fine. I step away from the wall and freeze. The door to Subject 31's cell is still open, but the mirror inside the room is completely black. Not reflecting, just a void. Like an open mouth, waiting. I take a step back. The air feels wrong, heavy, thick, like I'm walking through molasses. And then, a whisper. You were never meant to leave. My vision tilts, reality stutters, and everything goes black. When I wake up, I'm sitting at my desk. My office, my quarters. Everything looks normal, but my clock is blinking. It just shows zeros. Something feels off. I reach for my notebook, flip through the pages. They're all blank. No notes, no records, just a single message on the last page, written in deep black ink. Stop looking. My pulse races. I slam the notebook shut, pushing back from the desk. My hands are shaking. How did I get here? I check my watch. It's not working. I check my reflection, and I stop breathing. Because in the mirror, I'm still sitting at the desk, but my reflection is smiling. I don't remember leaving my office, but now I'm in a hallway I don't recognize. The walls are darker here. Wrong. They look the same as the rest of the facility, but something in my brain is screaming that this isn't real. I turn a corner, and there's another me, standing at the end of the hallway. Not a reflection, a copy. It smiles and whispers, almost ready. I turn and run. 6:45 p.m., Dr. Shaw's office. I don't know how much time I've lost. I burst into Shaw's office, panting. His eyes widen when he sees me. Jesus, Holloway, where have you been? He asks. I don't know. Something's wrong, Shaw. Something's really wrong. He stands up. He looks afraid. Holloway, listen to me. You need to leave this facility. What? You were never supposed to be assigned to Subject 31. His voice is urgent now, panicked. They chose you for a reason. What reason? Shaw hesitates. And then he says the last thing I ever expected to hear. Because you were a patient here once. My blood runs cold. No, I shake my head. No, that's impossible. Think, Marcus. Have you ever actually been outside this facility? Have you ever left? I open my mouth to argue, but I can't. Because suddenly, I can't remember how I got here, or where I was before, or who I was before. I grab the edge of the desk as the room spins. No, this isn't real. Shaw steps forward. Holloway, listen to me. If you keep digging, the witness will take you completely. You need to stop. But I can't stop, because I know the truth now. I was never meant to leave, because I was never outside to begin with. 6:59 p.m. Final session with Subject 31. I don't remember walking here, but I'm back in Subject 31's containment cell. He smiles when he sees me, like he's been waiting. Are you ready now? He asks. I swallowed hard. For what? He leans forward. For the switch. The words burrow into my brain like worms wriggling into the spaces between my thoughts. I try to move, to respond, but I can't. I'm frozen in place. Subject 31 watches me across the table, smiling, calm, patient, like he's done this before. I force myself to speak. My voice comes out hoarse. What does that mean? His smile widens. It means it's time, Doctor. Time for you to wake up. The room tilts. My head throbs, memories flickering like a dying light bulb. Something is wrong. I am awake, I whisper. His eyes darken, pitying. No, Marcus, you're not. 7:05 p.m., the breaking point. I grip the edges of the table, holding on to something real. I'm done with your riddles. Just tell me the truth. Subject 31 exhales, tilting his head. But I already have. The light above us flickers. The room warps, the walls bending inward like a crushing lung. My skin crawls. Do you remember the first time we met, Marcus? 3 days ago. His smile falters. 3 days ago, he repeats softly. Then he laughs. Marcus, you've been here for 6 months. No, that's not true. Isn't it? He gestures to my notepad. Check your notes, Doctor. My hand trembles as I flip through the pages. I expect them to be blank. They aren't. The words are there, but they're wrong. It's my handwriting, my notes, but every date is months older than I remember. 6 months of sessions, 6 months of conversations. I don't remember any of them. I can't remember them. My heart pounds so hard it hurts. No, that's impossible. I was assigned to you 3 days ago. I had a meeting with Dr. Shaw. You mean Dr. Shaw, who's been dead for 5 months? The air leaves my lungs. No. I just saw him. Did you? A horrible pressure builds behind my skull. My vision flickers, like a screen losing signal. I see flashes. Shaw's face, but his skin is gray, sunken. He's in a body bag. A security recording labeled Incident Report, Dr. Marcus Holloway. My own reflection, staring at me from the two-way mirror, but the grin doesn't belong to me. I clutch my head. This isn't real. You're lying! I snap. Subject 31 leans forward. Then tell me, Doctor, what's the last thing you truly remember? My breath is ragged. My brain races. I dig deep, trying to remember before the facility, before Subject 31, before any of this. But there's nothing. No childhood, no home, no life outside these walls. Just an endless stretch of white, sterile hallways. I was never meant to leave, because I was never outside to begin with. The realization hits me like a train. I was never a scientist. I was a patient. The files, the gaps in my memory, the way Shaw looked at me like he was keeping a secret. It was never about studying Subject 31. It was about studying me. Because I was the experiment. A laugh bubbles up from my throat. Hysterical. Broken. I've been here for 6 months, running in circles, chasing questions I was never meant to answer. I look up at Subject 31. He's smiling. You're ready now. I finally understand. For what? I say. He reaches out, presses his hand against mine. The moment our skin touches, my vision fractures. The walls vanish. The facility disappears. And suddenly, I'm him, and he's me. I wake up in a chair, strapped down, a metal table in front of me. A man sits across from me, a scientist, notebook in hand. He studies me with sharp blue eyes. Good evening, Subject 31. My blood freezes. No, that's not my name. The scientist smiles. Are you ready to begin our session? Elsewhere, a man stands in front of a mirror. Dr. Marcus Holloway. The new Dr. Marcus Holloway. He adjusts his lab coat, rolling his shoulders, settling into the skin. A perfect fit. He picks up the notebook, turns to the first blank page, and writes. Subject 31, initial interview. He smiles at his reflection, and this time, it smiles back.